The bald Superman. Oh, I mean the One Punch Man. Imagine being so strong to where beings from apparently a higher dimension, a dimension that breaks all physics, it ignores distance, energy, and size, higher dimensionality stuff being introduced in this One Punch Man universe when they use like models like this, for example. There's beings that have techniques that allow them to enter to a higher dimensional realm that will be bigger than your normal dimension that you would normally see. And they look at universes like small bubbles. Beings this large, apparently, with their technique, can apparently fold entire dimensions like bubbles using their special technique to hit beings in this lower dimension. And despite this being able to cut through space itself, he could not cut through Saitama even when he tried twice, and Saitama simply just pulled him into our dimension. Saitama did this with laughable ease. I hope you guys enjoyed this vid. This guy Saitama used to have hair, but the way his world works, he lives in a fictional Earth that has their own type of cities that's not like ours, like City Z and crap. There's this constant theme known as monsterization. This world has a lot of superhuman type characters because they train their way up to be strong. There's monsters that are really large. There's different creatures that have different threat levels. That these beings are even ranked depending on their threat level. There's even a hero organization where they rank the top heroes. But the thing that makes Saitama unique is that he's a guy that wants to be a hero for fun. Tired of living the basic life of 9 to 5, which we can relate on, decided to start working out, trained so hard to the point where he even lost his hair and somehow did the impossible by doing a ridiculously easy workout regimen that shouldn't even make him this strong. He somehow broke his limiter with this workout regimen. Like, don't get me wrong, you can work out and become superhuman in this universe, but Saitama is unique. I mean, there's other beings like Darkshine, for example, that literally was obsessed with muscles, lifted weights to become superhumanly strong, but Saitama is just on steroids. And the crazy thing is, like, he's one of those brute powerhouse beings that is strong in a straightforward way. He's not even all about hacks, even though he has hacks too, like being able to kick portals and crap, and being able to soak in lava and spray it with ridiculous force. He somehow broke his limiter and got a unique ability to where he's astronomically strong than everybody. Stated to have immeasurable energy. People that don't know his limits say he's S-class strength or higher. Every physical activity, he broke records. High-ranking heroes in the hierarchy even admit Saitama's above him. By the rare miracle that he's not, say if somebody copies his powers. He has a weird ability to where even if you copy his powers, he progresses too fast for the person to duplicate. In a weird way, it's like Saitama has a lot of similarities with the Incredible Hulk. His strength increase factor. So even if you copy his power rises too fast. So even though you're trying to copy him, his power is rising too fast for it to keep up. He's a literal walking embodiment of if Goku was a Super Saiyan God in his Dragon Ball King Piccolo saga. End of the series level character. It's like somebody playing a video game and you do all the side missions and you fight the first boss and the first boss doesn't stand a chance. This guy can literally fly because of a fart in space. He's literally the end of the series level being at the beginning of the series. That's why he's One Punch Man. I mean, seriously, how does lifting weights, how does running give you resistance to lava and heat? Like, what does that even have to do with your skin? You see what I mean? Somehow just talking and interacting in space with no issues. It's ludicrous. When it comes to any weights he has to lift in gym class or something, everything is with laughable ease. We've seen him lift cars, can do ludicrous stuff like lift hundreds or even thousands of tons, or even hundreds of thousands of tons, can lift up literal buildings. This could be canon, this couldn't. It might not be canon, but whatever. He can lift literal skyscrapers as squats, apparently. Like, I'm talking about he can lift hundreds of thousands of tons with laughable ease. I'm talking about multiple buildings. Even when they're apparently trapped, he can just launch all of this, not only a little bit off of them, but way in the air with his strength. So yeah, the show isn't called The Power Lifter Man, but yeah, he can lift hundreds of thousands of tons. With all this raw muscle, of course he can punch hard. We've seen him have so much weight behind his punches, he can punch beings through several mountains, aka proof that he can punch apart mountains. We're talking about a guy that doesn't even have to make contact with the mountains. And the concussive air of his punches can vaporize them. His body has to be durable enough to withstand the recoil of the strikes he produces. So he's durable. There was this meteor that was 200 meters wide. The weight of Saitama's punch can punch stuff like this apart. He doesn't even have to make physical contact with his punch for it to hit with so much force to split this much of clouds on the planet. Let's face it, his punches can blow away cities. When Saitama's punches collided with a being like Boros, that same blast, when all this crap is translated, this attack apparently would have messed up the Earth. This scan, they say, planet's surface, and Saitama's punch still punched through it. Saitama himself believes he could destroy the whole planet. I believe him. When he can do stuff like jumping off the moon and making a big crater like this pretty much proves he can level cities, honestly. I mean, you can look at this like he can hit so hard he could shake the entire planetoid of the moon. Like, for you to make a crater this large, that way you can see it from Earth? Yeah, because we know how big the moon is. I mean, if you can hit so hard to where you can make a crater this large, I mean, just compare the size of something like this to how big it would be on Earth. You see what I mean? Fused monster beings that fight Tatsumaki, a telekinetic being in this universe, can produce blasts that can literally split the Earth's crust like this. But when this same being tried to blast Tatsumaki, her telekinesis can blast away her beams. So that lets you know how strong Tatsumaki is. Tatsumaki herself can blow away multiple continents. And Tatsumaki herself, the telekinetic being, can actually twist, no, not a joke, twist the city itself. Yeah, Tatsumaki, she can't do nothing to Saitama even when she buries him with all this mess. None of her telekinesis works on Saitama despite him only using brute force. He can hit hard enough to quake continents and destroy them. I mean, yeah, he's just strong in every aspect. Punches or even lifting. Like, we've seen him do this thing as the table flip to where he literally did this and kind of did this to the whole planet. Him just lifting into the ground caused all of this to happen to planetoids. I'm pretty sure these punches, when they stated it was going to destroy the Earth based on the energy analysis, I'm pretty sure they were serious about this. Planetoids like Earth, he can definitely punch apart. Can we all agree, however powerful a character's sneeze is, let's all agree that whatever their sneeze can do, their punches can do better. Saitama, in Saitama's situation, we literally seen this kind of blast power from a freaking sneeze. What do you think his punch can do? He did this to the planet Jupiter. Like, if this is anything similar to the Jupiter we know of in real life, considering the size of Jupiter compared to Earth, if you can disperse all of this, that's basically way more impressive than destroying the Earth. And he did this with a sneeze. What the heck do you think would happen if he punched? So yeah, he could definitely punch apart planets. This basically confirms he could punch apart Jupiter too. Really large planets. I mean, this is the same guy, Saitama, that can apparently lift black holes themselves. Like, wait, what? What kind of equipment is this if they can withstand the pressure of a black hole? Oh man, I don't even think we need to get into black holes. You guys know how crazy black holes can get. So destroying Earth is no problem. Jupiter, let's just say he can destroy the sun too. You think I'm tripping? Nope. Saitama is part of the reason this punch, the energy of this punch, this serious punch squared, all this energy got diverted somewhere else that it blew away, looks like a galaxy or millions of stars or billions of stars or something like that. Like, where the heck did the stars go? Blowing away one sun is literally a joke, especially with his strength increase factor. Shaking a whole galaxy is one thing, but he did something way more impressive than that. He contributed in deleting it. Like, you can actually see galaxies depicted in their fight. So, like, there's galaxies nearby. You see what I'm saying? Galaxy. You know, that's a big gap in space from that punch. If his strength rate is going up this crazy, and back here, he already could blow away galaxies with his punches, like, what do you think is happening when his strength rate keeps on increasing? Like, how many galaxies do you think he could destroy right here when he's rising so much faster than his opponent? The weight of his punches were getting so heavy that eventually one of his punches could kill him in one shot. Like, does he have a strength increase or power increase factor like cap, or will it keep on going? And part of his ability to be able to adapt and stuff, he can copy fighting styles, even special techniques. Like, he straight up learned how to copy this technique, for example, and literally imagine your inner universes and figured out how to move back in time. Like, does this mean Saitama could learn how to use energy projection from his hands or something? Like, what's the limits of being able to copy people's techniques? I mean, he technically retconned this whole fight and landed a punch before it was even thrown. One punch in Garo. 0 punches to finish the battle. And for literally 2 seconds, there was 2 Saitamas in one timeline. Oh man, that's scary, ain't it? But yeah, the way the timeline works, they kind of merge them together so it won't be 2 Saitamas. And Saitama doesn't have memory of that fight that just happened. I mean, but the Saitama that literally did that literally merged with the past one. So he could potentially do that again. It's not really a full-blown retcon. He could technically, you know, get to that level of power again by increasing his strength via emotions and such. And Genos explained all this time travel shenanigans and Saitama didn't really care for it. Seriously, what's his cap? Could he eventually grow? Could his power rise high enough to where he would eventually be able to punch away the universe or shake the universe itself? What do you think? What's the limits of his growth? What if I told you guys, like, I don't want to get you guys too confused, but there's actually this thing known as being above infinity. You're probably thinking that's not possible. You can't go higher than infinity. Well, think about it. Without making this a Marvel video or nothing, like, you guys know I talk about Marvel a lot on my channel, but there's a lot of beings that technically have infinite power, but there's still beings that are higher than other beings that have infinite power. Like in Marvel comic cosmic beings and stuff. Like, you can actually surpass infinite. I feel like Doctor Strange explains it best, like when it comes to the dimensionality. Even though this isn't a Marvel video, he explains it. One infinity is included within a larger infinity. That's where you get into the higher dimensional conceptual type stuff that a lot of people don't want to get into. You're probably thinking, what the heck does this have to do with like the One Punch Man universe? Because there's implications in this One Punch Man universe. They're kind of getting into this wonky, sciencey above, trans infinite type stuff. Because one of the most recent chapters is this being known as Empty Void. He's a being that can do these ridiculously powerful slashes that you see here. Like they seem like on some bottomless pit type slash type stuff right here, for example. Like it's literally named Dimension's Blade. It's talked about it's one of God's powers. They even use terms like from the higher dimension. Let's say these two universes are side by side, right? One is just another dimension over, but one is not considered a higher dimension. A higher dimension would be like how there's one infinite size universe, but then there's a higher level of infinity dimension, a higher dimensional infinity. That's where we get into the higher dimensional stuff. Like this is different from being just another parallel dimension. It's a difference between it being a parallel dimension and a higher dimension. And they clearly said from a higher dimension. Like this being literally has a technique to where he kind of enters a higher plane to where the universe they're originally in looks like a small bubble and he looks bigger than it. He's in a higher, bigger dimension. Like for example, a whole bunch of parallel universes, he's higher than the stuff. They're next to each other. And like you see the little bubble of the universe right here and he's like in a higher existence. He's literally outside the causality of the universe. Everybody's in a bubble in the universe that can't reach him. They say fold entire dimensions like bubbles. Like you notice how the universe looks so small compared to him. You can intervene from outside the universe. And this is what the dimensional slash does. It's like a specific technique in order to form a seal with both hands. That's the reason why this guy's able to do this. Look at these slashes, guys. These bottomless pit type slashes. Like did he split through the whole planet or something? Like the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because all these heroes are struggling against this being that's doing this dimensional slash from outside of everything, outside the causality of the universe, making this dimensional slash. We see Saitama literally stop this with laughable ease. It's an attack that cuts through space itself. He's literally in a higher dimension, and Saitama's in the lower dimension affecting somebody that's in a higher dimension. Like this guy's in a higher dimension, you don't even see the guy. So this guy thought it was a fluke, so he tried it again, and Saitama just catches the next one again. Not only did he catch it, he literally pulled this being from the higher dimension into the main dimension again. This is kind of scary because this is not even putting into effect Saitama's strength increase factor. Like he's just chilling right here. He just literally takes this guy's sword, somebody that was cutting from a higher dimension. If these fights is implying what we're thinking implying, Saitama just parried somebody that's literally beyond infinite power. I'm doing my best to give you guys a visual perspective. If this One Punch Man manga is really doing what we're thinking we're doing, we're getting into beyond infinite power at this point. This feat, if we're interpreting this correctly, this would imply that Saitama could really destroy the universe. Because anything in a higher dimension should technically, by default, be above anything in a lower dimensional space. Like, I know this higher dimensional stuff can get confusing, but the One Punch Man universe seems like they're trying to introduce this concept about how something in a higher dimension ignores distance, energy, and size. Like, it just breaks all physics when you're in a higher dimension. Like, you see how there's a cube within a cube, but it's not like side by side to it. It's in a bigger dimension. They're implying this is the universe, but this is a bigger infinite, a bigger universe outside of it. And when you can exist outside of it, you look down at this smaller universe like a smaller plane of existence, like it's little compared to you. This is directly taken from the One Punch Man manga while they're also talking about a higher dimension. So, and then all the visual imagery they use, it's very similar to all the higher dimensional stuff we were used to in different continuities of Marvel, DC. Like, it's the same thing they usually use. They're doing this in the One Punch Man universe. Outside of the universe, looking at the universe like a bubble, Saitama's down here in the lower dimension and stopping something from outside a higher dimension. If I'm interpreting this correctly, Saitama would be capable of universe-shattering type raw power, if we're being honest, interacting with higher dimensional beings and stopping their attack. It would be different if he dodged it. That wouldn't mean anything. But when you can actually overpower a higher dimensional being, if this One Punch Man is going down that route, that would imply universe-shattering might. But that could be just me. Saitama has combat speed and reflexes, and he can also move from point A to point B real fast, like travel speed. He can use both of these in combination too, like literally move to where it looks like he's making multiple of himself, implied to be faster than the speed of light. If he can outrun his own reflection in the mirror, that's literally faster than the speed of light to be able to do that. He can throw his limbs real fast and appear in multiple places at once because of speed. Yeah. All these fists, that's combat speed. He can fight so fast, it looks like he's all over the planet at the same time. Beings that literally have the name known as Flashy Flash catch Saitama off guard and he still dodges. It was so bad he thought it was a fluke. How can somebody match my speed? So this guy literally tried again and Saitama reacted. So he thought he was going to outrace Saitama in a straight line, not knowing that Saitama has straight line raw speed as well to keep up. Yep, Flashy Flash. Hitting him with all these attacks and he's reacting. And when he was about to do his ultimate technique on Saitama, Saitama's hand was already right here to where he didn't have time to use his forbidden move. Yeah, so most people's speed can't compete with Saitama either, not just his muscle. This being that Saitama's casually avoiding is faster than light. Saitama treats light speed beings like they're slow. We just have to face it, he's massively faster than light. He's pretty crazy, y'all. And he believes you should hit that like button. And thanks for the donations, everybody. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.